How nice it is to discuss this match with a win. Roma breaks this bad streak that they've been on. Thanks for joining me. I am Wayne Gerard, and a lot to unpack here today. Mourinho's press conference, as well as Tammy Abraham's, and let's see what's going on. If anyone's got comments, meant to make a little bar here. Oh, you know what I realized? I realized I forgot to put my headphones in. There we go. Oh boy, it's not his first day. Anyway, yes, so Roma gets back to winning ways. Nice win over Empoli. At times it looked like they were really struggling, but ultimately I think the better team won. They made a lot of opportunities, and let's see what we've got going on here. Just immediately, looking for comments, write them in. Roma XG, here we go. They're coming in. Morin says Roma's XG over 3.5, 3.8 for expected goals. So for that metric, it's the amount of goals that should have been put in the back of the net. And Roma just, underwhelming a little bit there. Sometimes you score over your XG based upon the probability of scoring. But today, Roma gets a little lower. Last year, they had a very high XG, but not a lot of goals. So we see a anomaly here going on, and that this ball does need to go in the back of the net a little bit more. Rocco, we've got him coming in. Dybala is key. He definitely is, and he's a key of today's show that I've got lined up, today's post-match. And Marco says, what's up? What's going on? Galovic, what's up? So, first things first, let's go with a little bit of a rundown about this match. Starts off, Empoli looks somewhat brave. We see Parisi working well down on the left. Satriano puts a header on it, but it's Rui who comes up with the cross. Bandinelli then gets a goal. Roma unable to cover from the captain as he was just off of Selik's shoulder. Maybe Selik, it's that weird area where who covers it? Is it Mancini or Selik? And that's one thing with the 3-5-2 that always makes me a little bit nervous, is how they pick and choose which player they're covering. Once that guy goes off the shoulder of the right center back, you would think that the right wing back is going to be there, but that's not always the case depending on their movement. So I want to see that a little bit improved. Sorry, Marco, I left your comment up there. Getting these comments in a lot. Very good. Rocco says, Mourinho's substitution decisions, not my mom, have been off lately. What do you think? Well, have they been off? I think the starting lineup there's been questions about that, and he actually responded to the copia between Matic and Cristante today. Gets that in his post-conference. But I would like to see introductions of some players maybe a little bit earlier. If you're going to have Bove stay, then I want to see him actually get minutes, and that goes off of what Morin said here. He said Bove only played a few minutes. He had a great chance to score, and really excited for him. Yeah, I thought that one was going to the back of the net. HH is here. What's up, HH? He says, Selik and Spino were very good tonight. When our wingbacks play well, we win. And there's something to say for that, too. Roma is a team which now has, you think, 4 quality outside backs, 4 wingbacks. Karsdorp, Selik, or Celik, sometimes I hear him called, Spinazzola, and of course Zalewski. And that's never happened as long as I can remember, as long as I've been a fan. And Edwards in the house, he says, that felt pretty good. Yeah, I find myself like, I don't know, do you find that when Roma win, like your day just seems to go a little bit better? You're like, yeah, maybe I'll go out and buy some tacos tonight because that's what I'm going to do. Instead of cooking, let's celebrate a little. It feels good. Empoli coming into this game had only scored 4 goals. They only had 4 points. But at the same time, you can't really underestimate that squad. They do have good players, even though Destro was not a starter. Bayrami had a hell of a game. So HH says, countering some about Rocco's substitution comment, saying his subs were spot on and he saved players for the Europa League games. And you know what? Thursday, they're hosting Helsinki. They're coming to the Stadio Olimpico. And it's true, this turnaround is really quick. I would understand if Roma had a Saturday game. And I'd be like, okay, well, it's Thursday. It's in a couple days. But this is quick, man. Like from midweek to Monday, now to Thursday. it's getting pretty nuts here. Rocco says, Wayne, you ever see these smaller teams basking around the ball like vintage Barca and thinking, what is going on here? Yeah, sometimes I do. I'm like, where do they get the guts? And I have to imagine that teams play at another gear when they face Roma, these smaller teams, because they're motivated by the idea that Roma is a big team that is not fulfilling expectations because Roma is a name, regardless of how much money is spent on the Mercato, where they are in the standings. Roma is always going to be a big name, especially for guys who are on smaller teams, wanting to get bigger contracts, wanting to have that exposure. They smell blood, and especially going into today's game, Roma came off of the loss against Udinese, lost against Ludogorets, not a quality side, and they must have felt high on their horse, like they could actually grab something here. And you do see them play differently. Like I said, Empoli only scored 4 goals, and tonight they almost scored 5. Where does that come from? And they're definitely pumped up coming into these games against Roma. Marco says, how would you comment the lack of understanding on the pitch, the lack of fluidity and movement? Everything depends on individual qualities. Attackers are isolated, and defenders are kind of lost. I think a lot of this stems from the center midfielders. I think when Matic plays with Cristante, and it's been said a lot now, but it's totally true. When you have slower center mids that cannot cover the same amount of ground, it really hurts the rest of the team. But that doesn't necessarily explain the wing backs, because now you have Matic who can protect the ball. Cristante can't really protect the ball. And that's when the cracks begin to form. So to me, it's a two-pronged issue. The defense definitely needs to build up some more chemistry. You would think by now that Smalling, Mancini, and Ibanez would have built that up a little bit better. But we see the addition of a new wing back, and his spacing could have affected that chemistry a little bit. And then I think Matic does provide more than adequate cover. But on the other side, like slipping in between the cracks behind Cristante, someone who doesn't have the legs like someone like Wijnaldum, that's where the problems begin. But that's definitely not the end all. And it's not the, you can't just pinpoint that and say that's the exact issue, because they think team needs to gel a little bit more. Zaniolo going out, like, we started match day 1 with Pellegrini, right? And Cristante. And I thought that was great. It worked really well. But now Mourinho was forced into a formation that he didn't expect to. So it's not gelling the same way that we would have wanted it to. It just, as people are not understanding that small teams this season are good and causing problems to the big teams. Case in point, Udinese. Some of these managers, they bring new philosophies like a Sotil, and hopefully that old relegation team, the promotion team, they come up and they just try to hold on. Like, that's not a sustainable method. I wouldn't play like that if I was, just fighting for promotion, because those teams, they go down and they stink. And what do you get? One more season? Okay, but your destiny is back in Serie B. So something needs to change big time there. Another comment here from Morin. Why do you think that this team makes so many great chances so easily but cannot score them? Is it a mental or a training issue? I want to say that it's a bit of a mental issue, because this is still a work in progress. Zaniolo, this will be his breakout season, in my opinion. El Shaarawy is like a fringe player. Tammy Abraham came off a big season. Dybala is new. And Belotti, I think he needs to establish his confidence. So they are scoring goals. They're winning games. They could have scored a bunch today. Pellegrini should have had a penalty kick. Dybala hit the woodwork early on. It's a case of a little bit of bad luck, but eventually you have to take responsibility for your fortune and put those balls into the back of the net. So mental or training. I go with 75% mental and 25% just that they don't look totally fluid. Somebody used the word fluid before. Who was it here? Somebody said fluid, and I like that word a lot. Let's see, who was that? I'll get back. Oh, Marco said it. So that doesn't look as good as it can be, and I think it will develop. Counters in particular are very hard to get down pat, in the sense that every inch makes a difference, every meter that you move, and it's life or death, right? if you fail on your counters and you have 3 chances, you look like a fool. But if you make them, then it's vintage Mourinho and it's excellent and they're so well tuned. So it's just that meter of difference. Here we go. We got some good ones coming. Here we go. Rocco again. Would love to see Volpato get more minutes. He feels special and potentially a future star for Roma. Kid is fearless and composed. I look at Volpato and he's got something special. Like the way that he, I don't want to say creates, but takes on his man, makes offensive opportunities, gets the ball into the final third. That seems like a special skill set. And I agree with you, Rocco. I do want to see that quite a bit more, like 100%. I wonder if Mourinho is going to go there. Richard, what's up, man? Rich says 13 points from 18 is a good start. Yes, I think right now Roma goes into fifth, tied for fourth with 13 points, but Udinese is that team. So yes, 13 out of 18 is a good start, even though I don't think we've played well for most of it. I think that's the issue, right? It's just the quality of play hasn't been always there, not in every game. Wingbacks should cover for mids. They are sitting too deep and too wide, Marco says. So the wingbacks are sitting too deep and too wide, leaving space for the opponent to control possession. So I think that there's something to say for the smaller teams. You can take that risk. But when it's like what Marco says here, and they're sitting too deep, and you have players of high quality that can produce moments out of nothing and make big goals. Think about if you gave this much space to a player like Leao, arguably the best player in the league, or Theo Hernandez, Declan Torre. These players will capitalize on that space that you give them. So they're going to, like Marco's pointing out, they're going to have to figure that out at limiting chances within, I don't want to even say the third. I would say within Roma's quarter, like the quarter of their defensive third, letting it get even deeper. Because, okay, the top of the defensive third, I don't care. Take those chances all day. But once you get a little further in, they're whipping in crosses, low-driven passes, and that's when mistakes happen. We can say, oh, it was a crappy goal, because it went in off a deflection or whatever. But if you're putting the ball around the net, good things will happen to you. HH says, Matic and Cristante were never meant to play together ever, but injuries forced that. Zaniolo coming back is huge, and Kamara will have 2 weeks under his belt now. I agree. I don't know if they're never meant to play together. This is the plan B. The plan A was much better. You know what? This is plan C, because Wijnaldum should have been there if it wasn't Pellegrini and if Zaniolo was there. So were they meant to? I foresaw it like in an emergency situation. Unfortunately, the emergency situation hit us so early. Arbot says, the defense still worries me. If Smalling gets injured, we're in big trouble. I totally agree with you. Smalling is an underrated keystone of this team. For however good they are or are not, Smalling is the backbone. Like Rui, he does a job. The guy, he's a pro. But Smalling, I think, is the leader behind this team because he just closes down opportunities really quickly. How do you rate Pellegrini's game? What is his point in this tactics? Because he looks lost on the pitch. I'm still trying to figure that out. I'm not sure that in this setup, if Pellegrini is supposed to be more of the guy who comes back and carries the ball into the offensive third, but that's Dybala. So is he the player that streaks down the wing and stretches out the defense? That's El Shaarawy. So Pellegrini plays like a attacking mid, but on the wing. It's unfortunate today, but his game, he's always going to put in a shift, Pellegrini, but I don't think this is optimal for him. So I agree with Marco again in that this doesn't look totally right for him, and I don't think he'll be back there once Zaniolo gets back on the pitch. First half of the season, HH says, get points in anyway and get the Europa League qualification. True. And then second half magic will happen. I hope so. I have to believe Mourinho is not a lost coach. I mean, he's one of the most decorated and celebrated and smartest men in football. So you can't forget that. Matic surprised me, Mourinho says. Way more dynamic than I expected. He's getting a lot more minutes than I expected. This guy is a set starter. I thought he'd be rotation, like a guy off the bench, but emergencies sometimes force this, and he's rising to the occasion. Like, got no problem with Matic. This guy is he's professional. I love it. These are the type of guys that you want, not guys that come in like Pedro. They're like, oh, it's not going good. I gotta go. I can go somewhere else. I don't like Roma. Or the hell is his name? Player from Sevilla. Oh my gosh. Roma paid like 27.5 million euros for him, if not more. And Zonzi, what a waste of space. So you get a guy who comes in towards the end of his career, wants to play European football, wants to help out his own coach, and gravitates to the team. It's very good. Martin says, one time he went as far as Abraham on a counter. Oh yeah, Matic bursted. He sure did. Kaze, what's up, man? He says, Kaze is coming in from Portugal, I believe. He says, I think that not having proper ball carrier is the main issue at the moment, and Roma lost both of their ball carriers in 2 days. Yeah. Gini getting injured, Gini Wijnaldum, is a massive blow right after Zaniolo got injured too. Yeah, and it must be said, like, how much does this affect the team? And you hit the nail on the head. Like, both guys, I had thought about this, that both players were massive, but I didn't connect the dots that these were both Roma's ball carriers. Wijnaldum, so athletic up and down the pitch, smart with his passes, keeps possession, tempo, can shoot a shot. Like, it's a big loss. Kamara was definitely, they wouldn't have turned to him if it wasn't for that injury. Rocco says, what do you think of what does Mu love about Bove so much? The fact that he's got guts, he's got grinta, he gets up and down the pitch. He looks like not a reincarnation of DDR, but a player of his own. A player who can sit a little bit deeper, but also get forward. So that's what I love about Bove. Marcus says, Matic cannot be rotation to Cristante. Cristante, so bad. It's tough moment for Cristante, for sure. Kaze is back. He says, Kamara is supposedly Roma's third ball carrier, but he is still adapting. Yeah. I also see Kamara as somebody who can sit a bit deeper. I've heard the expression box to box. If Marco Di Marinis is on this, he's probably laughing. But this is the expression I've heard used with Kamara. And still, I've only seen YouTube. I do not watch Olympiacos. Not for fun. But HA says 34 years old. Matic, 3 games, 90 minutes in 1 week. That's crazy. On those legs, I feel for that guy. I'm 32, and I feel like I've lost I don't want to admit it, but I feel like I'm starting to lose my breakout pace, like the acceleration. This guy's older. He's got a hell of a lot more minutes than a recreational player like I do. I don't know how he does it. Marco says we call him Nzombi. Yes, so I'm going to take a break reading the comments for 1 second, but keep shooting them in. So we go back to that Dybala goal. Phenomenal. Like one touch, the second he puts into the back of the net, it's his own type of tirajir. Argentina is going to be a problem in the World Cup. Messi, De Paul, Dybala, Lautaro Martinez, forget it. I wouldn't want to play that team. I think it's going to be an Argentina-Brazil final. That's what I'm hoping for. So Bandinelli equalizes. Roma unable to cover off of Selik's shoulder, whether that was supposed to be Mancini or the Turkish wingback. And then Akpa, who's a dangerous player, Lazio Loni, puts Satriano in on goal in the second half, but he put it wide. That was a really nicely slotted pass for him. Key pass that Satriano could not put away. I thought he should have done much better. That was a big miss. That should have been a goal. And at that time, it should have been 2-1, Empoli. So what happens is Roma scores, as is the age-old proverb in football. As soon as they give one up, Roma scores, and they make Empoli pay for that mistake. Brilliant ball in by Dybala, and an even better finish by Abraham, who up until that point was having a pretty tough game. He's had a tough game, and I think he really needed that goal. He gave some words that I'm going to get to in the post-match press conference. So Akpro is given a straight red. He was on a yellow, but he gets a straight red for his foul against Smalling. You would think, okay, that's it. No, Empoli continues to make goal-scoring opportunities. Vicario, though, he makes another save. That was a big one on Belotti. I thought he did a pretty good job tonight between the sticks for Empoli. And we'll look back to some of these comments. Thanks, Rocco. IFTV needs more of me this season. Roma should be a protagonist. I hope so. Let them know. Write those guys. I'm gonna take a screenshot of that. I'm gonna send that over to them. If you saw on Syria's YouTube, Marco Messina did a vlog, which I wrote, which was really cool. It's him going to the Derby della Madonnina, and that was edited by the brilliant Dan Calasimo, and I did the script for them, which was really cool. HH says, Mourinho will never put Bove in high-pressure situations. He will play him when the time is right only. Maybe. I'd like to see what happens when the pressure is on and Cristante is burnt and he needs a goal, but hopefully that's not the case. Thanks, Rocco. I appreciate you, man. Marco says Dybala, insane quality. Can't believe he plays for us. Yo, like the last 10 in Italian football. Can you put it in a comment? Do you know of any other pure number 10s, fantasista, in Italian football right now? Because I can't think of any. Like a true pure number 10. Not a guy who like does moves on the side and wants to play like a pseudo Ronaldo. Not an attacking mid. Not a striker. I'm talking about a true number 10 because I have to think that's only Dybala. And his quality just takes, been using that word a lot, quality. Just takes Roma from here to like way up here. So good stuff. Marco, IFTV is Italian Football TV. You can find them on Instagram, YouTube, all that stuff. Inter and Napoli one last minute. Atalanta and Juve lost points at home. I saw Atalanta tied. Couldn't believe that one. At home, but only Roma will be highlighted as a bad performance. The news has a funny way, don't they? That crafty Gazzetta dello Sport, always so supportive of Roma. Yeah, right. It's true. When Roma does bad and everyone else does bad, well, it's only Roma that does bad for the newspapers. Jeez. Thinking of, I don't know why, I just had a random thought. I saw Pinocchio, which I don't know why I thought of that. It was so bad on Disney Plus. But anyway, some points. So Akpro was dangerous, and Bayrami thought he had a really strong game, good attacking midfielder from Empoli. I'm surprised he didn't make the move this season. I thought he was going to go to Fiorentina. Thought he would have been a good player for them. But I thought Lucas Torreira would have been a good player for Roma. And I don't even know if that phone call happened. I thought he would have been perfect. I'm not sure why it didn't. He seemed excellent for Mourinho, as he did last season. So anyway, I do think it is time to turn to the bench for what my opinion's worth. Bove needs more minutes. I think I'm excited to see Kamada, but I think that holding Bove back, like HH said, that if Mourinho wants to hold him back for less tumultuous situations, that he's got to go and play. Like, let this kid go and try to be the difference maker, because I think that he has it in him to go on the pitch when Roma is down or needing to solidify the game and get another goal or keep the tempo up. And he is that player that can do that. I want to get, let's see, what's Bove's actual age? Eduardo Bove. Wikipedia, do your thing. So he's 20, and he's actually not 21 until the middle of May. So he's still a young guy. He's 5'10". I didn't realize he was that tall. Let's get to, after these comments, we're going to get to the Abraham press conference and then to Mourinho's. Since I was watching the game, Kaza says, with British commentary, and you can tell the commentators wanted Mourinho to lose. The British press really don't like Mourinho. Nah, they can't stand him. I saw a clip recently where he asked like what he was at Chelsea, and they asked him some smart comment, and he's like, Ferguson is the only European champion, so I don't have anything to prove, because they asked him if he had anything to prove, and he's like, anything to prove? I don't know. I think I only see one European champion here, and that's Ferguson. He just rips people when he wants to. Rocco says to HH, it's crazy. Juve terrible all season, but they squeak out a momentary win versus Salernitana, and everyone calls it injustice. They were played off the pitch by Salernitana. Yes, they were. A team which gave over 40 goals last season. A team which has a fraction of the budget that Juventus has. Juventus, who has one of the world's best strikers, who has quality players, Primavera system. Bremer, last season's defensive MVP. So don't tell me that this is a Juventus that shouldn't be doing better. Everyone knows that they are, but they don't get the newspaper hatred, the media hatred that Roma does for sure. It just says, so what I mean is it's not fair on Bove to be the main man in midfield now. Yeah, no. And demands from fans is high. Let's protect him a little. I agree with that for sure. Hilarious press conference by Moo. Yeah, I love that one. He just, he's so good sometimes. Let's go to the Abraham press conference right now. I've got some banners here. There we go. Open up my iPad. Okay, so Abraham, match winner, 1-2 over Empoli. He says, Empoli was a good team. They've been working well all this season, so we knew it was going to be tough. Coming into this game, we had lost the 2 before, so we needed this for our confidence. We were happy to win. Generic, whatever, player answer. He adds, I think we had amazing individual performances tonight. Ibanez and Matic, for me, were the 2 most important players on the pitch today. Yes, myself and Dybala got the goals tonight, but we have to give credit to other players more, though, because they worked well. Ibanez is in pretty good form. I think under a lot of people's noses in maybe the first or second game of the season, not so great. But right now, I've seen a lot of growth from Ibanez. He says Selik as well, coming into a new team is difficult, but today he put on a great performance. There are a lot of things we can be proud of, but we have another game on Thursday now, and we need to be ready. He says, I'm getting better and better. I need to keep learning and improving. I'm coming off the back of an injury, so I still need to get my fitness back a little bit. But I'm happy to score and help the team as much as possible. Okay, I'll throw that one up there. Any comments in? Yeah, okay. Cool. On to Mourinho's press conference. Oh boy. I didn't read through all of this just yet, but he spoke to Sky Sports Italia. And first, he goes into Abraham's performance and his movement for the second goal. He says, he has to do it. He has to drop deep when the team needs him. Maybe he can struggle more mentally. Yeah, I posted that one up. More mentally to do it, but that is also the mission. I must say that scoring goals against Vicario was difficult. He looked like the best goalkeeper in the world. That goes to back what I was mentioning before about how these teams just get pumped up against Roma. Juventus played their best game in 18 months against Roma a few weeks ago. Then he comments on securing the points. He says, we could have won in another way with more tranquility. If we were 3-1 up, we could have managed it better ahead of Thursday. But the important thing is to win again. I feel bad. I made this banner and I'm not even using it. There we go. There's Dybala. He says, we suffered 7 minutes of extra time for a team that wins is a lot, but we managed it well. I want to congratulate Zanetti because his Empoli team were tough to play against. Yeah, I even liked his Venezia last season with Okereke, who he gave a lot of freedom to. I liked him there to play against, but in the end, we deserved the victory. Then he looks up against the Helsinki. He gives some comments on. So change this here. The run of points is not a problem. Obviously, Udinese are a tough game away from home, but we were aiming to score points and we failed to do so. All games are tough. Here, too, we were in danger of losing 2 points. They almost scored that. I'm telling you, that was easily a 2-1 game, and it would have ended like that. I have no doubt. He continues. On a game level, we're a team with a lot of difficulties that we didn't expect. We're a team? Okay. If we lose players, we're in trouble. I'll take this opportunity to thank Zaniolo for his effort to be here. Before the second goal, he was ready to come onto the pitch to help the team, and it's different without him. Wijnaldum was a key player for us, and he got injured. Cristante and Matic are 2 great players, but for our idea of the game, it's not easy to make them play together. Lost my thought. To make them play together. Then with the injuries of Zalewski and Karsdorp, we are uncovered on the wings. He's dealing with a lot. There are difficulties. In 2 days, we have a game to win, and in 4, Atalanta, who aren't playing in the cups. Much, much more rest for Atalanta there. He said these are difficulties that smaller teams don't have, and they can prepare for these games with a different potential. But I prefer to have the difficulties, but stay in the thick of the competitions and play on Thursday. He was then asked if Roma would have beaten Empoli without Dybala on the pitch. He says, I don't know. to say he played well is obvious. Not all players have his potential. We were a team, and I like that. I didn't like the time between our first goal and theirs. We stopped pressing and lost positioning going forward, and also in defense. They had space to create. In the second half, we transformed. I thought the same thing too. I saw a much different side in the second half of this game. We were always in control. The third goal had to come, and after that, we put ourselves in a risky situation. The victory is deserved. They are difficult to play against. Okay. At the end of match day 6, Roma sit in 5th, tied on points with Atalanta. And let's go check out some comments. Salik over Karsdorp all day long. Interesting. Wonder if Mourinho is thinking the same as well. HA says Solbakken and Wijnaldum in the next part of this season, plus most of our players will rest, not playing guitar. Totally true. Everything will be much, much better. Yeah, hopefully Dybala has a successful World Cup and is easy on the legs, of course. But if Solbakken comes in, I think, I heard, or I looked on Big Soccer the other day, this message board that I moderate, and I read a lot from the posters there on, they said, one said, Solbakken seems redundant, like we don't need him. But then I look at the wings of this team, I really think that they do. I think that a player like him would allow Pellegrini to sit in the midfield, and we wouldn't have that stagnant issue that we have right now. HA says, waiting for Roma English official YouTube account. Let them know. Tag them. Send those guys on Twitter. I'm hoping that we get something going like that on the official channel. I would love to. And the guys there, good guys, editor and stuff like that. So hoping that is something that comes to fruition. Let me know what you think. Keep shooting in the comments. Got a lot today. So very cool. And it really adds so much more to the video. I'm thinking of post matches. I'll continue to do live, and pre-matches to do recorded. And the reason for that is that I've been doing a lot more. So instead of like sporadically doing it, I've been attempting to make these a post-match and a pre-match for every match. So let me know what you think of that. Rocco says, when Zaniolo starts to finish, he's Ballon d'Or quality. He is so equipped. I think you're gonna see him break out this season. That's my bet. I'm not gonna give a goal amount, but I think it's totally his season to break out and score some quality goals. And I like that his injury. I don't like an injury, but I like that his injury was shoulder. I was glad that it wasn't something, of course, otherwise. Marco says, answer this honestly. Is last year's midfield better or worse than this year's? As of right now, without Mkhitaryan, they are worse. At this very moment. With the players healthy, I think they're better. I think when you can drop Wijnaldum, Pellegrini into midfield, alongside Matic, get Bove in there. Oliveira was whatever, but Mkhitaryan was very good, and he progressed the ball between the lines last season, and we're missing that for sure. Thank you, Ed. Email them. So, yes, 1 hour after the game, please. Yeah, today was a tricky one. I couldn't get when this game end, like 4:30, and I think I got on live at 5:45 my time. So yeah, that's my plan to be 1 hour after the game. I think that's the right formula. Today I got home a little late, driving. I had some stuff to do at the bank after work, so that took a bit more time than I thought. I watched this game from my car. Ridiculous. Marco says, Veretout, Oliveira, Mkhitaryan versus Matic, Cristante, and Kamara. If you take it like that, yeah, I would say last year's is much better. But when you add in Wijnaldum and you slot back Pellegrini and you insert Bove, I take that one. For Mourinho, Veretout is a good player. I think he's a really high-performing center midfielder. But for Mourinho, no. If he had a different type of coach that was a bit more, not beautiful football, but a bit more spent time trying to progress the ball with numbers, then that would have been the type of manager that Veretout would want. And Kaze jumps in, agrees. Last year, midfield was slightly better due to Mickey being so crucial in carrying the ball, quick and effective through the mid. But this year is better without injuries. Yes, definitely. Let's see if I got anything else for you guys here before I go get some tacos, before my wife gets home from work. Let's see. I got that one. Hey, Mourinho. I've been saving this one. Couldn't see it today, but I guess it's a surprise for another day. Anyway, one more comment in here. Wayne Garcia. Oh, Garcia's 100%. Yes, that team, Di Francesco should have went to the Champions League final for sure. But the way that Garcia's Roma played was champagne. It was beautiful French all-out football. I loved Garcia's. I would even one day take him back because I think that guy knows what he's doing. Perhaps one-dimensional when Jarvinho went down, but yeah, I liked Garcia a lot. I liked his girlfriend too. Um, Consistency is the key to grow on YouTube. Yes, 1 hour after the game, the recorded pre-match is better. Yeah, consistency for sure. It seems like that. That's my plan. Garcia was amazing. Yeah, that Di Francesco, they had much better players. I think the midfield was a different story. You think of Nainggolan with Strootman and Salah, even Totti there for before he retired, of course. Or maybe that's past Di Francesco. But anyway, remembering those guys on the field together was a really special thing, and I missed that. I think that was Garcia who had those guys, and then Di Francesco kind of walked into a decent situation there, but it's not going so well for Eusebio Di Francesco right now. But where is Garcia? Rudy, I think he's still at Marseille. He is. Where is he? Where is he? Al Nasser. What is he doing there? Besides making probably a lot of money, he's in Saudi Arabia. Yikes, bro! Get out of there. Last question from Rocco. Where does Totti rank for you in all time? Top 10, 20, or 50? For me, he's the most intelligent player of all time. There will never be another brain like Francesco Totti. There's no other player who can make the passes that man did. So there will never be another. So for me, there's a category of legend. Zidane, Totti, Maradona, Messi. For me, Baggio, those are my guys. And they can all do things that none of the others can. So I don't have like a number one. I have a category, and they're all in there. Like if you ask me who's the best footballer of all time, it's different. Football changes, and players are more suited to certain styles than others. Certain players have benefited from that. Others have not. Messi benefited from playing for the same team his whole time. Totti did not. Did not. So really it depends. That's crazy. I can't believe that. Rui Costa. Rui Costa was a talent, a sensational player, but not Francesco Totti. I mean, his career speaks for himself. All right, guys, if you can jump in some last comments here before I sign off. This one's long, 38 minutes. Jeez, flew by. HA says Kamara looks good. He will improve air in the mid, clearing out the balls in the midfield from the air. And he's happy. Spinazzola had a good game. You can feel danger with him on the ball. Yeah, he almost had an assist there, I think, in the last 10 minutes of the match. So thanks, Kaze. Kaze, if you ever see a Rui Costa Fiorentina kit on like anywhere in Portugal, let me know. I will send you money immediately. I'm looking for that. Rui Costa Fiorentina, for sure. I'm actually thinking of getting the Fiorentina Renaissance jersey this year. I teach the Renaissance, and that's like my favorite subject. R9, yeah, you cannot forget Ronaldo, bro, for sure. Anyway, on that, let's see. I think I covered everything. Dybala, Bandinelli, Abraham solidifies it. Guys, thank you so much. We'll see you next time. Definitely do something, a little pre-match recorded for the match against Helsinki. And then Atalanta is coming. Let's see that game time for Atalanta. Roma. It's going to be Roma's at home. That's Sunday, September 18th. Today is the 12th. Okay, so in 6 days. Jeez, this schedule is insane. At 12 p.m. I think I'll be free that day. Bye, guys. Thank you. Thanks, guys. Talk to you soon. Ciao. Thanks for joining. Give it a like, all that good stuff.